Hey there. Today we're going to be reviewing chapters 3 and 4, including both verbal and nonverbal communication. Language is a body of symbols, normally words, and also the system or rules for using those symbols in communication with others. Words are symbols used by a speech community to represent objects, ideas, and feelings. People who share these languages form a special community. A speech community is simply a group of people who speak the same language as each other. However, it is not only the words that make the language, but the thought and meaning behind those words. Denotation is the formal meaning of a word, or more commonly referred to as the dictionary definition. While it isn't incorrect, it does not express the entire meaning of that word. Connotation, however, is the feeling associated with a specific word. This is not always as obvious as the denotation. The feeling of the word old may mean rusted and useless to someone, but mean vintage and classic to another. Syntactic context is how and where a word is used in a sentence, and how it can affect its meaning. For example, saying it's cool outside does not mean the same as the cool new phone. To be fluid means to be able to change repeatedly, like water. This is how conversations are, able to rapidly and repeatedly change based upon the reaction of who you're speaking to. Language register is a style that is used when speaking or writing. There are 5 of these registers that differ in their own ways. These are static, formal, consultative, casual, and intimate. Revision is the stage of writing in which a draft is brought to a higher level of completion. This is done to make changes to reflect a deeper understanding of the material. Logic is a system of reasoning that is used to present items in an order that makes sense. This is also used to clarify your ideas to see that they are supported. Tone is associated with the words that show how a writer feels about the subject and the audience. This is done through pitch, volume, and gestures during the conversation. Concrete words are words that appeal to our senses, such as the smell or noise when describing a scene while telling a story. Abstract words are words that have multiple meanings. A more simple way to describe this is words that describe something or a feeling such as love or mumble. Precise words are words that narrow a larger category to a smaller group within the same category. For example, saying frustrated or impatient instead of saying angry. Dating information contains details that identify the time or period that a fact was true or known to be true. This is important because what was previously true may not be true now. Vivid wording is a style of speaking that produces strong and distinct mental images for the audience. This is done by describing the events that are happening in greater detail. A simile is a direct comparison of dissimilar things by using an expression containing the words like or as. A metaphor is a comparison that establishes a figurative identity between the objects that are being compared. Slang is informal vocabulary developed and used by particular groups in society. This is important in society to emphasize a shared experience by sharing the same words. Generic language is words that apply to only one gender, race, or other group as though it would represent everyone. An example of this is talking about a hypothetical person and automatically saying he. Nonverbal communication is defined as the bodily actions that accompany a verbal message. This is used to more clearly communicate the true message of our gestures, which are movements of our arms, hands, and fingers, are important in everyday conversations to reinforce a verbal message. Eye contact is how and how much we look at the people with whom we are communicating with. In Western civilization, eye contact reinforces truth and sincerity of the message that is being conveyed. Illustrators are gestures that add to what is being said or described. A common example of this is spreading out your arms when explaining the size of something. Emblems are gestures that stand alone as communicators in a conversation. This would be a thumbs up or an OK sign. Adapters are gestures that are automatic and a response to physical need, such as an itch or a stretch. Many times these are not to communicate anything, but for example, if someone is playing with their hair or tapping, they may be nervous. Posture is the orientation and movement of the body. This is normally in relation to other people. Direct body orientation is facing another person directly to show that you have great interest in the other person. Indirect body orientation, however, is facing towards another person at an angle. This can indicate a lack of respect or interest. Motivated body movement is movement that helps clarify the meaning of what is being said, by adding gestures that emphasize the importance of what is being said. Unmotivated body movement is movement that distracts the listeners from the point being made. An example of this is fidgeting or stuttering. Haptics refer to what and how touch can communicate. In Western culture, things such as hugs or handshakes are normal, but in other cultures it may be seen as insulting or intrusive. Paralanguage are vocal characteristics that convey meaning in addition to the words that are being spoken. Pitch is the highness or the lowness of a voice. High pitch may indicate an excited or distressed emotional state, while a low pitch may indicate sadness or seriousness. Volume is how loud or soft a voice is. This changes with emotion. For example, people's voices often get louder when they're angry and softer when with friends or family. Rate is the speed at which a person speaks. On average, most people speak around 100 to 200 words per minute. This may get faster when nervous or excited, or slower when thinking about what to say next. Proxemics is the formal term for how space and distance communicates. The distance between people as they speak is often interpreted as part of the message. Personal space is the distance maintained when interacting with other people. This conveys respect, trust, and attentiveness to the other person's needs. Physical space is the part of our physical environment that we are able to have control over. These spaces are used to communicate of what status a person is part of. Artifacts are the objects and possessions used to decorate the physical space that a person controls. These are used to express emotions, taste, talent, or any other message. Monochronic time orientation is a time orientation that emphasizes doing one thing at a time. Being interrupted may be seen as disrespectful to these people. Polychronic time orientation is a time orientation that emphasizes doing multiple things at once, being more flexible and understanding. The first of the three basic body types are endomorphs. Endomorphs are round and heavy, normally stereotyped as being kind, gentle, or happy. The second is mesomorphs. This body type is muscular and strong. These are stereotyped as being energetic, outgoing, and confident. Lastly, we have ectomorphs, being lean and lacking muscles. They are stereotyped as brainy, anxious, and cautious.